All right, the XDefiant server stress test beta, whatever you want to call it, thing ended like not even a couple hours ago, and I wanted to kind of give my thoughts. Now, I know you saw the thumbnail and the title and stuff, and you think I'm probably just going to hate on it. I'm not. I think XDefiant could be a pretty good game, but there are a couple things that I would like to ask for. First thing, just to get it out the way before I forget, we need a game type where there is no abilities, and it's just like grenades and flashbang stuff like that and guns. The abilities are interesting, but some of them are a little bit stupid. In terms of like being able to play around it and stuff, you can't really do anything against like the one-way shield that people can just create, or the ability for people to not be able to die and have immortality as a special ability. I know it's like the ultimate sort of thing, but I think it's pretty dumb. There are a lot of people who are hating on the game primarily just because it's supposed to be a COD killer, and you know, you have people who really like Call of Duty. I am, I'd say, a fence sitter. I don't like Call of Duty for a lot of reasons. I like Call of Duty for some reasons. I think XDefiant does what it's trying to do, like, mediocrely or whatever. I think not having skill-based matchmaking is ultimately a very good thing for your game. If Call of Duty had no skill-based matchmaking, though, it would automatically trump all of XDefiant very quickly. Now, there's a lot of people comparing Modern Warfare 3 to XDefiant and Warzone to XDefiant. To be honest, I like the idea overall that XDefiant is trying to do, in which they're reusing other things that Ubisoft owns, like the Splinter Cell group, the people from Far Cry. Like, I find that pretty interesting. I think that's a good idea overall. But like I said, some of the abilities are not fun to play against. There's not really counterplay, and I find that to be very obnoxious. There's a lot of people who are also complaining about desync, and I think that there are a couple things here. I felt like I was experiencing it, and I felt like sometimes I would shoot and the gun wouldn't shoot right as I was about to die. Could just be internet or something like that, but my internet is pretty good. Like, I would say it's better than a lot of people. You know, I'm not playing on a console using Wi-Fi. I'm on a console, but I'm using Ethernet and things like that, so it kind of gets rid of some of those issues. There's probably a lot of packet loss, and that's sort of a thing that people are recognizing. But I also believe that there are people who are using guns that have sort of like accuracy nerfs to them. They're putting on attachments that make it so that the accuracy is worse, so that the shots aren't counting. But something that I'm noticing is that when you start to shoot someone, you will do a very small amount of damage, and then randomly their health bar will shoot down. And if you kill them, this will happen. If you start to shoot them and you die, same thing. It just kind of slowly shoots down, and I don't really understand it. I don't know if that's like the game not registering it, or if it's a visual thing. I do hope that that's something that's kind of cleared up in the future, because it starts to seem like your guns don't do as much damage to begin with, unless it's like headshots later. I can't fully tell. I don't want to say that I'm clowning on the game or anything, or that I'm a hater, or that I'm a dick rider, okay? I kind of suck at the game, and I think that's fine. It's just something that I wasn't playing a lot. I was playing other games. I haven't really been playing shooters a whole lot either. But I do have to say, some of the attachments and things like that, and the ability to give yourself mobility, so there's certain weapons that are automatically just really slow. You can add some attachments, make them a little bit faster. I don't know. It doesn't feel like some of them are that viable. I think all the guns are pretty good. I'd say some of them are good, but some of the attachments don't seem useful. Some of them don't seem as helpful as they probably could be. But overall, I think this game is just going to have a bit of negative, like a negative connotation to it, in which people are going to see it as the COD killer because this came out. People were like, no SBMM, this is great. They're like, oh my god, I can slide cancel, yada yada, all this. In which I do have to say, the movement in this game, I don't necessarily mind it, but I do think it's pretty dumb. I don't like the slide canceling or anything, because it's not, I wouldn't even say realistic. The game's an arcade shooter, okay, but it's like the slide canceling and the ability to bunny hop really throws you off when you're trying to shoot at people. I would appreciate the game being more or less like Black Ops 2. You can kind of jump around, but you're not able to slide. I don't really like that. That's just personal preference. You may not agree. That's completely okay. Honestly, it's really whatever. That's just sort of my idea around it. But yeah, the movement, I don't really enjoy it. I think the movement could do a little bit of not being there. It takes a little bit of learning. You have to like hold your sprint button, hold your slide button, keep spamming it to bunny hop. The slide canceling isn't really that noticeable. And a lot of people were saying things of like, oh, well, the slide canceling was the big point. Then we got Modern Warfare 3. There's slide canceling, movement, all this stuff. But to be honest, Modern Warfare 3, you know, it's an alright game, but, you know, microtransactions really plague that game, really make it unfun in terms of there's a lot of stuff that you could be getting if things were like a little bit free, I'd say, or you can earn them. Then, you know, you got battle passes, stuff like that. It's sort of just the same thing every time. You know, for Modern Warfare 3, you have zombies, and that thing hasn't really been touched. There's not much effort being put into zombies either. The battle pass will give you certain items for zombies, and that's really it. And that's just, no one enjoys that. Overall, I do look forward to what they could add to XDefiant. My thing that I saw was that there's like characters that you can see around that are from Siege. I think it would be pretty cool to see an entire list of characters or a group of characters that let you pick some Siege abilities. I know that they already have a shield character. I think it's Ghost Recon. I don't know all the names of the groups, or Breakpoint. I don't know. Maybe that's the same thing. But like they already have a shield op, so you know Monty or Blitz doesn't really work. Sledge doesn't really seem to make sense unless you run faster with the sledgehammer, which would be funny. I don't really know what they could do with it, but I think that would be cool. You know, that you have Assassin's Creed. That's another thing. At least I think that's Ubisoft. There's a lot that they can do there. I don't know. I think if they're gonna go arcadey, when I think of arcadey shooters, I think more or less like Black Ops 3, and the slide canceling and things like that still felt easy to keep up with. Aim assist is toned down very heavily for this game, and it's very noticeable, and I think it's okay. With playtime, you get very used to it, but as someone who doesn't like to play the same game over and over and over, and I like to bounce between games within the same day, it really throws you off. And I think that's okay. Same thing happens to me with Siege, because there's no aim assist, so you're not really used to it. It takes a little bit of getting used to, and then you start playing again. But yeah, I think if this game tries to still be a Call of Duty killer, and it tries to frame itself like that, it's not going to hit the mark. It's gonna die, sadly. Like, it'll have 1,000 players or something like that, but it won't do well, and that sucks to admit. It'd be nice if the game does really pop off in terms of, you know, updates, weapons being added, things like that. The one thing I do appreciate is the weapon names in the game. You know, you got MP7, AK, ACR. They don't do anything fancy with them, like you give it the whole alphabet. I think that's great. I really appreciate that. But yeah, let's just hope it doesn't try to be a Call of Duty killer, and it tries to be something more or less just its own thing. It tries to really do something right for itself instead of trying to compete, but at the same time it competes because it's trying to do what it's doing best in a way or something. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. I hope they work on server issues and all that stuff, and they really get that working. I hope they sort of explain certain things as to why certain people weren't having, or they were having issues with, you know, guns not counting, like bullets not counting, stuff like that. I hope it all gets worked out. I hope that the game comes out soon. The one thing that does suck is we waited 10 months for it. Hopefully everything for this game just goes from meh to like, it's 7 out of 10. It may not be 10 out of 10. That's fine. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about it. Hopefully, maybe you guys agree, maybe you guys don't. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments. But yeah, hope you guys have a great day, night, week, month, whole rest of the year. It really doesn't matter when it is, but I hope that's great for you guys though. See ya.